The pool party start today at 5, 6 o'clock. If you already got the address, pull up, man. You got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party start at 5, 6 o'clock. DM me for the address or DM Julio booking ESPN. I'm gonna put it right here. We just got here, bruh. You got to add it. You got to add it, man. Push up. We just got to this bit. Tampa, Florida, man. You already got to add it to the pool party. Push up at 5:30, man. Push up at 5:30, man. We finna get everything right. Push up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, man. It's up. I mean, drinking, cuz. I don't even drink, cuz.
You supposed to have a chaser.
Appreciate everybody popping out for my birthday, you know what I'm saying?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Everybody got their shot, put their shot in the air, man. Okay, David. Everybody take that shit on 3, man. 1, 2, 3.
He posted 7 times over 7 days telling the internet exactly where he would be, the club, the Airbnb address, the hotel name. He had 1 million followers on Instagram, and it was his birthday weekend, and he wanted everyone to know. Here is what he didn't know. 5 people in Jacksonville read every one of those posts, and they weren't fans. One of them was a 21-year-old woman who had been following his account for months. Not because she liked his music, because her boyfriend had told her to watch him. What she did with that information got her convicted of a crime. What her boyfriend and his friends did with it got 4 men sentenced to life in prison. And what Charles Jones did, posting 7 times, handing out the address, saying pull up to 1 million strangers, is the question this video is actually about. Because he knew people wanted him dead. He said so himself on the same Instagram account 2 months before this night. So why did he keep posting? To understand that, you have to understand who Charles Jones was before any of this. His name was Charles Andrew Jones II, born June 21st, 1998 in Jacksonville, Florida. The second is the part that matters first, because Charles Andrew Jones I, his father, and was murdered in a Jacksonville shooting in 2011. Charles was 12 years old. He grew up in the Moncrief neighborhood on Jacksonville's north side, in a part of the city where the gang KTA, Kill Them All, operated out of its 6-block set. He understood from an early age that the world he was in was not safe, that men around him went away and did not come back, and that surviving inside it required a version of himself the outside world would not recognize. He named that version Julio Foolio. He started releasing music at 17. His 2018 collaboration with legendary producer Zaytoven, called Sixtoven, put Jacksonville rap on people's radar. His 2019 mixtape Never Wanted Fame broke through. Vulture described it as preoccupied with death and jail visits, ailing family members, and creeping paranoia. That is not a critic's interpretation. That is a biography. He had 1 million Instagram followers and 1.7 million monthly Spotify listeners. His most streamed song, Voodoo, has 31 million plays. He had built a real career, independent on his own terms, out of a neighborhood that had taken his father before he was a teenager, and none of it made him safe. He named his 2023 album Final Destination. He named his last album, released in April 2024, 2 months before he died, Resurrection. Those titles were not a coincidence. In April 2024, he posted on Instagram multiple attempts on my life. He had been shot in Houston in 2023. He had been shot in the foot in Jacksonville in October 2023. Both times he kept going, made music videos while recovering, kept posting, kept showing up. The question is not whether Charles Jones knew he was in danger. The question is what a man does with that knowledge when the only life he knows is a public one. That question follows this entire story. To understand that, you have to understand what was happening in Jacksonville for years before that birthday weekend. Here is where you start. When rival gang members shot and killed 3 men in 2018, one of whom was rapper Youngeen Ace's brother, Trayvon Bullard. Foolio's response was to make a t-shirt with a dead man's photograph on it, print the words "Rest in Piss" across the front, and post it to his Instagram account. Not a private statement, not a song lyric, a t-shirt on Instagram to his followers. That is a man who had decided that the war was his identity, that backing down publicly was worse than any consequence of not backing down. Tampa Police Chief Lee Burkaw described the feud between 6 Block and its rival gangs, ATK and 1200, as spanning over a decade with dozens of murders by and against both sides. Dozens. And Foolio was not a passive participant in that count. He escalated, he taunted on social media, he posted, he also survived. In July 2023, he was shot in Houston and kept going. In October 2023, the same gun used in that shooting, ballistic evidence later confirmed this at trial, was used to shoot him in the foot while he was driving in Jacksonville. Same gun, 2 attempts, 1 year. By 2024, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office had detectives assigned specifically to monitor each gang's social media full-time. Detective Richard Meter watching ATK, Detective Trey McCullough watching 6 Block. During the trial, investigators testified that JSO had also recorded a Twitter Spaces argument between Foolio and one of his eventual killers, showing that the two men were in active, ongoing, documented conflict in the months before the birthday weekend. Both sides were being watched, and both sides were watching each other. So when Foolio posted the day before his birthday that he was heading to Tampa for a pool party, and then posted the DM address, and then posted the club name, and then posted the hotel, in both the JSO detectives assigned to 6 Block and the people in Jacksonville who wanted him dead were reading every word. June 22nd, 2024. Charles Jones arrived in Tampa to celebrate his 26th birthday. He had booked an Airbnb for a pool party. He posted the promotion on Instagram, Tampa, Florida, you already got added to the pool party. And then, critically, he directed people to DM him for the address. He gave out the location.
Pool party start today at 5, 6 o'clock. If you already got the address, pull up, man. You got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party start at.
That afternoon, 200 miles north in Jacksonville, surveillance cameras recorded Isaiah Chance and Sean Gathright loading heavy bags into a Chevrolet Impala. Chance was seen grabbing a modified Glock with an extended magazine and tucking it into his waistband. Flock cameras, automatic license plate readers, captured the Impala arriving in Tampa at 7:39 that evening. They were already in the city before Foolio even left for the club. That night, Jones celebrated at Teasers, a gentleman's club on Nebraska Avenue. At some point during the night, Gathright used his girlfriend to get intelligence about Jones's exact whereabouts inside. He texted, he coordinated, he had a specific table, a specific exit. When Foolio left Teasers, Chance and his girlfriend, Alicia Andrews, were outside in a silver Chevrolet Cruze. Surveillance cameras caught them following Jones's group from location to location. At each stop, Chance got out of the car and used his phone. Then a second vehicle arrived. Both cars followed. This happened twice, and then Tampa police showed up at the Airbnb because the party had too many people. Routine call, nothing to do with the men in the Impala outside. They told Jones to leave. He found a new hotel. He posted it. Lit everywhere we go. The people following him read that post. They drove to the new address. They were already in the parking lot before Jones arrived. The last person to accidentally help them find him was a Tampa police officer doing his job. That is the part of this story that doesn't leave you alone. By the time Charles Jones arrived at the Home 2 Suites on McKinley Drive, the people following him had been at it for hours. 2 vehicles, 3 separate surveillance stops, texts, phone calls, coordination. State prosecutor Scott Harmon described it in opening statements as a premeditated plot that had been hatched days, weeks before this day. Not an argument that got out of hand, not a robbery that went wrong, a plan. At 4:38 a.m. on June 23rd, 2024, surveillance cameras at the Home 2 Suites captured 3 men exiting a vehicle and walking in the direction of the hotel parking lot. They were dressed in all black. They wore disguises. 1 carried a handgun. 2 carried rifles. At 4:40 a.m., Tampa police received the 911 call. 3 shooters opened fire on the vehicles associated with Jones's group. The barrage struck Charles Jones and 3 other men who were with him. The 3 others were hit but survived. Tampa Police Chief Burkaw described it at a press conference. At 4:38, Three shooters exit a vehicle and walk in the direction of the hotel. They murder Jones with a handgun and 2 rifles. This barrage of gunfire also struck 3 additional victims who miraculously survived this incident. Charles Jones was 26 years old. He had been alive for exactly 2 days past his birthday. Tampa police followed a blood trail from the parking lot through the lobby up to the 3rd floor of the hotel, where additional victims were found. The shooters were gone. The Tampa Police Department moved fast. They had surveillance footage showing the suspects following Jones from location to location all night. They had flock camera data showing the Impala arriving in Tampa the previous evening. They had phone records, text messages, the Instagram posts, Jones's own posts that mapped every move he made that night. They also had something else. During the investigation, detectives established that Alicia Andrews, Isaiah Chance's girlfriend, 21 years old, had been following Foolio on Instagram for months. She was not in a gang herself. That was the point. Because a woman who isn't in the gang doesn't trigger the same suspicion when she shows up outside a club or drives a tracker car through a parking lot. Prosecutors argued at trial that Andrews used her car and her phone to track Jones precisely because her boyfriend and his associates believed she wouldn't be identified as a threat. She wasn't there when Chance and Gathright loaded the guns. Surveillance confirmed she was back at the Airbnb during that, posting about jewelry and food on social media, but she was in the tracker car. She was at both surveillance stops. She was reading the Instagram posts. The jury at her October 2025 trial found her guilty, not of first-degree murder, but of manslaughter, convicted of tracking a man to his death, even if she didn't pull a trigger. In May 2026, she was sentenced to 15 years in prison. The 4 men, Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davian Murphy, went to trial in April 2026. Prosecutors sought the death penalty. The evidence was overwhelming. The same gun used in the October 2023 shooting, the one that put a bullet in Foolio's foot, was used again in the parking lot on McKinley Drive. Surveillance footage showed Gathright and Chance loading heavy bags. Flock cameras tracked the Impala from Jacksonville to Tampa. Phone records placed them at each location as Jones moved through the night. And then there was the drill rap. After Jones was killed, some of the defendants posted music videos online, songs with titles like Who I Smoke and Foolio Dead were referencing the hotel where Jones was murdered, taunting the dead man by name in the lyrics. Prosecutors played those videos to the jury. On May 8th, 2026, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all charges, first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder, for all 4 men. They recommended life in prison without parole. The death penalty was off the table. They will spend the rest of their lives in a Florida prison. A lot of people, when this case broke, said Foolio brought this on himself, posted his location, invited everyone, handed out the address, and that is factually true, but here is what those people don't say in the same breath. His father was murdered when Charles was 12. His cousin Zion was shot and killed in his home in 2017. Charles himself was shot in 2023 and again in October 2023. Both times he released music videos while still recovering. In April 2024, he posted multiple attempts on my life. And then on June 21st, his birthday, he posted, God, thank you for allowing me to see another year. And then he went to Tampa and posted his location 7 times. He named his last album Resurrection. There is a version of this story where that is recklessness. And there is a version where a man who has watched everyone around him die, who has been shot twice and kept going, who has built the only career available to him out of the exact world that kept trying to kill him, that man posting his birthday on Instagram is just a man living his life. He was 26. His mother, Sandricus Mays, posted after his death, R.I.P. son. And then the story that only I can tell because I know the truths from the fakes. She is making a documentary about his life. Charles Andrew Jones II was 26 years old. His father was murdered when he was 12. His cousin was murdered when he was 19. He survived 2 shootings and kept making music. He kept posting. He kept showing up. 5 people were convicted of his murder. 4 will die in prison. 1 faces 15 years. The sentences are real. They are done. But the Instagram post is still up. The pool party video, Tampa, Florida, DM for the address. Still there. Rest in peace, Charles. That's it on tonight's episode of Consequences. Remember, these are real stories, real decisions, and real outcomes. Drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.